Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. I tried to do a program just a few minutes ago, and it didn't work over on our new computer, and I don't know why. Yes, we're getting buffered very bad. We're getting buffered very, very bad. Okay, folks, sorry about that. I got a telephone call and it interrupted my program tonight. I'm hoping you all are here now. I am live. I hear my video and see my video, and I hear my audio, and we're very much live here on the program tonight. Folks, I apologize for the nonsense tonight. We got our new computer in, and I appreciate all of you who helped provide that to us. I'm hoping to get this audio video problem and the buffering taken care of within the next 24 hours so we can use our new computer. It looked really good. The computer looks great. It looks great. We've got good video from our video camera here. I don't know why we don't have good audio. It kept cutting out from what you guys were telling me and from what I could see, and we're getting buffered very bad. I don't understand why. I just don't. I have my telephone hooked up through the router that we have here. And so what you're seeing here now is a product of our router. We have awesome video quality. I just don't understand why we kept getting buffered. I tried it through YouTube, and I tried it just through my OBS broadcasting software and got the same results. So we will play with that tomorrow. But needless to say, we're on the air. I want to thank everybody that has given of their time and their talents and their donations to help forward this progress of this show. Miss Porter from Chico, California donated 3 times this past week. She sent us 3 different donations, and we greatly appreciate it. John and Laura Holbrook from Oregon sent us another card and sent us a donation here with that card. I want to show you this. This is really cool. Okay. It says, "You are doggone amazing." I appreciate it very much. It says, "Thank you, Carol and Ron, for creating a life-saving content for EMA. With much gratitude, John and Laura Marie." Some of their egg production. Some of their chickens lay eggs for them. That's awesome. We really appreciate that. I will show you one of Miss Porter's cards here, one of 3 different cards she sent us during this past week. This first one says, "A blessing is just what you need and right when you need it." What a beautiful card that was. In it says, "Thank you so much. I've been watching you for more than 4.5 years. We rarely comment. Your hard work to gather information is really appreciated. This is toward your needed computer. Thank you," and it has her first name and Miss Porter. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much, Miss Porter. Thank you, John and Laura. Thank all of you for your kind donations over on PayPal and to our Emergency Management Associates post office box. We've gotten donations today, well, in the past week, from quite a few people here. I'm going back through my notes. I made notes of everything that's happened and everybody that's donated. Got to catch Gotta catch them. Gotta catch them all is what they go by here in the chat. They sent us a donation. Someone else sent us another donation, EMA show. And then, let's see, Greg and Donna sent us a donation. Olivia sent us a donation. We greatly appreciate that so much. Thank you all for what you've done to help us. We greatly appreciate it. It means the world to us. Pegalov is here. Free the home, or free the homie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that too. We appreciate all that you've done for us. We just hope this computer, we can solve the problem with the buffering that we've had tonight. Hopefully that won't happen again. I'll be trying to go back on the air tomorrow morning or at the latest early tomorrow afternoon to figure it out. Lama's Delight says, nice hairdo. Yes, I got a haircut. Okay. I got a haircut. How about that? Anyway, guys, we appreciate all of you here. Demon Catman, NCWQ Explorer, Rob52 here is here. Don Patoka is here. We greatly appreciate all of you here. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. Peggy's Low says it's a great cut. Thank you. Okay. In fact, it was a new place here in town that we've never been to before. And I got Carol's haircut done, and I got a haircut as well. So that's pretty cool. And we got it done for almost nothing. That's even better. So anyway, Rebecca says, sorry for calling, no problem. Yes, Rebecca, probably tomorrow morning, probably late morning, let's talk and see if we can get this figured out. I appreciate that. Anyway, guys, there are some earthquakes that I want to talk about tonight. Off the coast of Costa Rica, okay? We've been consistently seeing earthquakes all over the globe, and we've been consistently seeing large earthquakes everywhere. Over in Indonesia, we've seen them. We've seen them over in the Kermadec Islands. We've seen them in Fiji and Tonga. We've seen them over in Japan. We've seen them in China. We've seen them in Tajikistan. We've even seen them over in Iran, over in the Gulf of Aden. We've seen them. We've seen them in Turkey. We've seen them in Greece. We've seen them in Iceland. We've seen them everywhere. Let's talk about what's going on tonight. This afternoon, actually not this afternoon, I'm sorry, early this morning, at about 3:20 a.m. this morning, we had a 5.6 very large earthquake off the coast of Costa Rica today, 78 kilometers off the coast. There are 18 felt reports from that earthquake. It was a 5.7, 78 kilometers off the coast of Costa Rica. 18 felt reports. That's a lot. That's reasonably a lot from off the coast. Folks, this earthquake today off the coast of Costa Rica had the potential, if it hit any closer to land or hit on land, it would have been a very devastating earthquake for Costa Rica. Considering every one of the respondents that filed a felt report, they either felt very light shaking or almost no shaking, very mild shaking. And that's a blessing to Costa Rica. It could have been so much worse. With the 5.7 earthquake, it could have been very damaging. 5.0 to 5.9 earthquakes hit all the time. Those are considered to be large earthquakes. 6.0 to 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. 7.0 and larger are considered to be major earthquakes. They can do substantial damage. They can cause major injuries and even be fatalities from those kinds of earthquakes. I do not expect to see another 7 for a short while. Today is Thursday, okay? 2 days ago, we had some CMEs launched from the sun. Those CMEs will reach the Earth, the full bore of the radiation, the pulse radiation will hit the Earth Saturday, probably Saturday morning. Okay, that's the earliest when I believe we could see a very strong earthquake or even a major earthquake. Okay, anywhere I expect to see anywhere from 6.5 to 7.5 in that area. We'll see what happens after Saturday. Okay, and if anything happens on Saturday, we'll be coming on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available about that. But that 5.7 earthquake surprised a lot of people, including over in Central America today. Now, this was not the only earthquake in Central America or in Mexico today. USGS is not saying dadgum word about any of it. That is so poor on their part. That is very poor on their part. I continue to tell you what I think about USGS. I'm almost tired of talking about it. They're a waste of time. They're supposed to be the world's preeminent earthquake seismic agency, and yet they don't hardly say anything. That's what's sad about that. Now, they have talked about today probably close to, let me look here. They have talked today about 241 earthquakes worldwide. Folks, there's 4 times as many as that. There's at least 900 earthquakes worldwide, and their lousy reporting of earthquakes leaves a lot to be desired. Over in South America, there was another 5.0 in southern Peru. 5.09 kilometers southeast of Cincha, Peru. Cincha Alta, Peru. This is southern Peru. Okay. We've had earthquakes near Sabancay, near Tacna, Peru. This is just outside of Tacna, Peru. A large earthquake there. I don't have any reports of injuries or property damage, but quite honestly, this is in the foothills of the Andes Mountains on the west side of the mountains. Now, there are people living in Cincha, the area of Cincha, Peru. Okay. I show the earthquake hit in the middle of town. Okay. It hit in farmer agricultural fields. Okay. There's people living all around this area. So this earthquake did do damage in Peru. Okay. People living in that agricultural area and south of there as well. It's huge agricultural area and very mountainous as well. People living all over this area. So we probably have some injuries and or fatalities and property damage here. Knowing what I do about this area of Peru, these people don't have a lot of money. So quite honestly, it's not good. It's not good for any of them. On the western side of the Andes Mountains, right near the coast, there would have been a lot of shaking. It's right on the coastal boundary of the Craton Edge. So they saw damage there. Over in northern Chile, we've had multiple quakes there. I want to say probably 15 quakes there. Let me consult my device map here, and I should be able to give you a better idea of what happened there in northern Chile here. Give me a second here. In northern Chile, we have about 15 earthquakes there. USGS is talking about a 4.6 right along the coastal area, 4.6 moderate earthquake, 46 kilometers deep. Another one just northeast of there, a 4.3, 107 kilometers deep. Just south of there, another 4.3 near Ollaga, Chile, Ollague, Chile, 135 kilometers deep. Because this is at such a depth, I don't expect there was even moderate damage from that quake. Deep quakes don't tend to have a lot of property damage or anything else when it comes to that. But when they hit the land area, that's when the damage can happen. But because it was a low, moderate 4, I don't think anything happened there. Going into central Chile, another 4.2 near ERUPTS, Chile. Okay, this is, I believe, south of Valparaiso, Chile. But a total of about 20 earthquakes hit in Chile and over in Peru today. Going over into Colombia, Santander and Rizalda, Colombia. We've had minor earthquakes there. Santander with a 3.8 and Rizalda is a 2.1. Okay, so small and minor earthquake there in Colombia. So we've had probably, I want to say, 2, 4, 6, I want to say 20 earthquakes in Chile, 1 in Peru, and 2 in Colombia. So we've had 22 earthquakes in South America, along the coast of South America today. Going off the coast of Venezuela today, we've had a 3.0 near Cabo San Ramon and another 2.6 near San Juan. Let's see, San Juan. Oh, come on. Near San Juan de los Cayos, Venezuela, just off the coast. So that's what's happened there. Over in Central America, we've had 10 plus earthquakes in Central America, to include a 3.8 in Guatemala. A 3.8 in Guatemala. In southern Mexico, we have probably 18 earthquakes in southern Mexico. Even an earthquake just south of Puerto Vallarta, okay? 55 miles south of Puerto Vallarta. This is a 4.0 earthquake, just off the coast of up the coast of Puerto Vallarta. So that being that, let's go down into the South Islands of the Pacific. We don't have any reported earthquakes today in Tonga or Fiji. Now, folks, we know darn well that there's rarely ever a day where earthquakes don't show up. USGS is not talking about any earthquakes at all, and the EMSC doesn't not show any earthquakes there either. Going over into New Zealand, south of Tonga, south of Fiji, we have quite a few earthquakes here. Look at that. Most of the earthquakes are over off the coast, north coast of the North Island, Raoul Island, New Zealand, or in the northern part of Raoul Island. Over in the Catcher's Mitt, what they call the Bay of Plenty, we have a 2.2, a 3.22, a 2.3, and a 2.3, okay? All minor earthquakes in the Bay of Plenty today. Going off to the northeast side of the North Island, okay? This is off the northeast coast of Gisborne, New Zealand. 2.58, 2.64, and a moderate 4.33. Okay, now that's on the earthquake fault. Okay. All three of those earthquakes are on the earthquake fault north of Gisborne, New Zealand there. Okay. Then we go over to the Raoul Island. We have one earthquake just north of the super volcano, Topo volcano. This is a 3.2 here. Right there. There's a 3.2 just north of Topo volcano. Topo volcano is a super volcano there on New Zealand. To the northwest side of the Topo Lake is a 2.66, a 2.1, and also a 2.2. So we have a moderate earthquake and two minor earthquakes there near Topo volcano. South of Topo volcano, this is near Ruapehu volcano. It's just southeast of Ruapehu volcano. 2.63, see, a 2.63 and a 2.21. Okay, 2.63 and a 2.2 or 2.21. That is Ruapehu volcano there. The last time that erupted, I believe, was in 1960. Okay. Going down to the South Island, between the North and the South Island of New Zealand, we have the Cook Strait here. We have a 2.63 earthquake, a minor earthquake in the Cook Strait between the North and the South Island of New Zealand. Now, there's one earthquake in the central western side of the North Island, the west coast of New Zealand. This is a 2.29. A 2.29. Okay, just a second, guys. I got a telephone call from Rebecca here. Hold on a second, I'm checking here. Just a second here. Yes, Rebecca, I'll let you know. I appreciate that. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to this. I want to talk about this. Jan USMC is here in the chat, is asking me if I'm able to show what app that I like best to track earthquakes. There are quite a few of them. I've got 5 apps on my phone alone. Okay. Plus I use the USGS map and I use a couple other maps on my computer, and I'll show you that another time. Boy, I'm sweating up the bing bang. Let me get a drink of water here real quick. What I use to track earthquakes, there's several of them. The one I have here that I'm showing you is called My Earthquake app. Okay. It's a very good application. This is My Earthquake app here. I also rely on Earthquake Tracker. Okay. You can pull both of those applications up. They don't cost any money. Okay. But Earthquake Tracker is awesome in giving me notifications when earthquakes happen. I have my earthquake app set to go off at minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. I want to know what's going on because minor earthquakes lead to larger earthquakes than that. So I always want to know what's going on. Now, NCWQ Explorer was talking to Antolian Congo Wolf, saying Turkey is one of the most active earthquake zones in the world, sitting in the Anatolian plate. Okay. In that area, just a year ago, just 1 year ago, that area had one of the largest earthquakes the Earth has seen, a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. Ever since that point in time, that fault is also producing aftershocks from that earthquake, anywhere from 1.5 all the way up to 5.8 aftershocks. And these happen every day. That fault zone at the Turkey-Syrian border I talk about frequently. I've talked about it literally all week long. That is one of the largest earthquakes, and those people in Turkey and Syria, each and every day they live, are constantly facing aftershocks. How would you like to live in an area where you're constantly facing more and more earthquakes every day? That's what happens there. Those people face these aftershocks every day. Okay? Every freaking day. That's pretty bad. Waking up to earthquakes all hours of the day and night and having to put up with that all day long. Some of those people I don't think sleep. Okay? They can't possibly. They're getting hit with 60, 65 earthquakes every day. Not a joke. USGS hardly shows any earthquakes there at all. If we go over the EMSC map, and the My Earthquake app is the EMSC app, we see a lot of earthquakes there every day. I don't understand how the USGS can get away with not showing anything going on. They rarely do. Okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, NCWQ says she's going to go. She's got to go. She's been having headaches all day long. We really appreciate her being here. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We appreciate you here. Jamie Wilkie says small earthquakes where she's living causing her to go crazy. Dizziness. That's craziness. That's sad that you have to feel that way. Okay? It's really sad. Can you imagine also being in Indonesia? Look at this. Okay? Indonesia sees 20 to 25 earthquakes every day. Now, this area, folks, let me make it smaller so you can see what's going on. This area right here is one of the largest subduction zones in the world. Okay? There are 7 different plates subducting. Subducting, what does that mean? That means one plate going underneath another. One plate being subducted underneath another plate. 7 different plates subducting. That's why they face so many earthquakes literally every day. Okay? Every day. Okay? Then, we also want to go over to the Philippines. Now, the EMSC is not showing earthquakes where we normally see them over off the coast of Mindanao, Philippines. Okay? Way up here off the northeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines. They're not showing any earthquakes here. There usually are. In that area, they got hit by a 9.0 earthquake just about 3 months ago. They've been having earthquakes there every day. This is the first day where I have not seen earthquakes in that area. However, at the south end of Mindanao, Philippines, we have a 4.5 earthquake here. This is near Surup, Philippines. There's a 4.5 earthquake here off the southern coast of Mindanao, Philippines here. South of there, okay? This is Sarangani, Philippines. We have a small 3.2 earthquake out here in the ocean. Nobody felt this earthquake, okay? Normally, if a 3.2 earthquake hit on land, you might feel a little movement beneath your feet, some shaking that might disturb you a little bit, maybe that dizziness feeling that, my eye's bothering me here. Anyway, the feeling of being dizzy or feeling a little nauseous, if you always were feeling 3.2 earthquakes all over the place, that happens, okay? But this 4.5, just barely off the coast of Philippines, because it was offshore, they may not have felt much of any shaking. The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of the earthquakes, okay? This was a 4.5, 3 miles off the coast, west of Philippines, and it was 43 kilometers deep. Actually, I'm sorry, 43 miles deep, okay? Probably about 58 kilometers deep. That's a fairly shallow quake. Over off the west coast of central Philippines, here's another 3.3 here, okay? That's a central Philippines. That's also off in the ocean. Now, south of Taiwan, I'm going north from Indonesia here. South of Taiwan, we have another 3.2 earthquake here. Out in the ocean waters here. This is, I believe, in the Chinese, what do they call it? The Chinese Sea here, okay? The South China Sea, okay? A 3.2 off the coast of Taiwan today. Now, I want to go over to Japan. Yes, there's some earthquakes in China, and I want to touch over on what's going on in Turkey in just a few minutes. Let's look at Japan. Just south of the South Island of Japan, we have a 4.4 earthquake there. A moderate 4.4. Why are we getting hit with moderate earthquakes here in Japan? Because, folks, down in Indonesia and also the Philippines, that's what we've had there. The seismic energy is moving north. So that moderate seismic energy is moving over into Japan. Over on the South Island, I believe this is Kyushu. No, Kyoto, Japan. There's another 4.4 earthquake there, okay? Going north, I believe this is Kyushu, Hidakawa, Wakayama, Japan. I know that's a mouthful and I probably butchered it. There's a 3.4 earthquake there, and there's also a twin earthquake here, a 2.9 in that same area there. 2.9 in that same area there, okay? Kyushu. Going over to Honshu, 3 earthquakes in Honshu. Now, all 3 of these earthquakes hit in populated areas, okay? This is Atami Shioka, Japan, a 3.0 earthquake there. You can see it's in a populated area. Let me enlarge this so you can see what's going on, okay? That hit a populated area there in Japan. North along the coastline, also still in a populated area. There's a 2.3. These earthquakes are only minor earthquakes there, okay? On the north side of that area, this is Shimotsuma, Ibaraki, Japan. This is a 3.2. This is a 3.2 small earthquake there. All 3 earthquakes hit the populated area of Japan there, along the east coast of Japan. Okay? Then, we told you, and we've been talking about this for the past 2.5 months. Noto Peninsula over in the Sea of Japan. Noto Peninsula on the Sea of Japan had an 8.4 major earthquake just about 8-9 weeks ago, okay? they're still getting aftershocks. Every day since that earthquake hit, they're getting aftershocks. Today, there was a 2.0 and a 2.8 there today. They're still getting rocked by aftershocks. Now, these aftershocks were just minor earthquakes. They may have not been felt, especially the one that was just barely offshore. The seawater from the Sea of Japan absorbed the shock waves of that quake. The other one on land probably was not felt since it was just a minor earthquake. But that area is still getting hit with aftershocks. They will be getting hit with aftershocks for probably 3 to 4 years. That was a major earthquake. Now, over off the coast, north coast of Honshu, we've had 2 other earthquakes here. A 4.0 and a 4.3 hit here. Okay? Moderate earthquakes. That is why, or I just got through explaining a couple minutes ago, that is why all these moderate earthquakes have been hitting Japan. Because all the moderate earthquakes were hitting over in Indonesia. They have moved up here to Japan. Okay? So those people are getting knocked around a bit. Now, I want to go over to west of Sumatra, Indonesia, over to Myanmar, okay? What they used to call Burma. Before I get to Myanmar, I want to talk about Thailand. Here's a 2.0 earthquake in Thailand today, okay? Myanmar. Here in Myanmar, we had a 4.2 earthquake. Again, this energy probably came up from Indonesia, from Sumatra, Indonesia. You can see one earthquake off the coast of southwest Indonesia. This is a 3.2. But this area has been getting hit all the way up here into Sumatra here. That area has been getting hit with 4.0 earthquakes and now a 4.2 over in Myanmar today. Going over into Myanmar again, up in northern Myanmar area, what used to be called Burma, we have a 3.1 earthquake and a 3.90, 4.0 earthquake there. This is over on the land bridge from Burma to India, northeastern India, northwestern Burma. Okay, going up into China, this area is constantly being hit with earthquakes. These have been large earthquakes. This is near Nagugu, China, a 5.6 earthquake here. They've been getting hit with a lot of large earthquakes as of late. This is another very large 5.6 earthquake today. It's that purple earthquake you see there. Over in the Himalaya Mountains, just on the Indian-Nepal border, we have another 2.4 earthquake there. Right there. Darn it, I wish that wouldn't do that. A 2.4 earthquake right there. Okay? At the Nepal-Indian border there. Then we go over into Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and Kazakhstan. Okay? Look at the earthquakes here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 earthquakes right there. Okay? I'm only going to tap out a few of them. 3.3, 2.8, 3.4, 3.4, 3.3, 4.0 in Afghanistan right there. So even some of that moderate energy is coming up here to Afghanistan as well. Look where it's at, okay? This is where the Himalaya Mountains go northwest bound into Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan, okay? That's that area there. Energy there, 10 earthquakes there today. South of there, over in Iraq, actually not Iraq, Iran, is another 4.0 earthquake right there. Darn it. I wish it wouldn't do that. A 4.0 earthquake right there. Sorry about that. It keeps disappearing. Now, as I stated before, And I'm going to try to keep this very minimal here, just to give you an idea of what's happening in Turkey and Syria today. Look at all those earthquakes there. Okay. There's probably 50 to 60 earthquakes over there in the border area with Turkey and Syria. It's happening all over the place. This is the Anatolian fault right there. Okay. Runs from way up here and goes all the way down here. Okay. Through eastern Turkey. Okay. It goes right down the coast of Turkey, right here, and here's Corsica right there. And there's another earthquake fault, I don't remember the name of it, that goes south and further west south of Corsica there, into the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, that's what's going on. Now, look at all the other earthquakes in Turkey. That's huge. That's huge. They continue to happen there. Okay? This is Turkey and the Mediterranean Sea there. Look at all those earthquakes. These earthquakes just off the coast of Western Turkey, these are in the Durkle Islands here. These islands belong to Greece, even though they're right close to Turkey. Now, in that area, though, we have 1.7s, 2.4s, 2.1s, 2.6s, 2.8s, all over the Durkle Islands here. There's a doggone it. There's a 2.8 earthquake there. Over at Crete, today, Crete had two earthquakes, okay? A 1.7 and a 2.0 earthquake in Crete. Crete belongs to Greece. Richard Smith is just saying that here in the chat. 2.0 in Crete. Now let's go over to mainland Greece. I keep telling you guys about all the earthquakes happening there. That is a ton of earthquakes. Okay? That's a ton of earthquakes. Right now, there are over 40 earthquakes in Greece today. Southern Greece, a 3.9, 4.0. Going over to central Greece, 1.9 in Pergos, a 1.9 in Pergos, 1.9 earthquakes there. Those are just tremors. Just tremors here. Okay, over into the Aegean Sea. Okay, the Aegean Sea cuts Greece in half. Okay, these are just 1.0s. Oh gosh. Those are 1.0s, 1.5s, 1.6, 1.3, and such like that. Okay, all over this area near the Aegean Sea here. Now, I want to point something out here. Right here is Patras, Greece. This city was named after the Apostle Peter. That's Patras, Greece. Usually we see all kinds of earthquakes here near Patras. Okay? Today, there's not any right there. Going over to the western side of Greece, though, 1.9 and 1.9 there. Okay? Two 1.9s there. Out in the islands west of Greece, okay, a 3.2 there. Now you can see that sign right there, 20 plus earthquakes there. I want to show you this, okay? Compared to what happened earlier this week, this is nothing, okay? I believe these are also okay. Right here, these don't appear to be lining up in geometrical patterns here. Earlier this week, we had about 70 or 80 earthquakes just off the coast of Greece. I believe those were DUMBs, deep underground military bases. Deep underground military bases. This does not appear to be lined up like those other earthquakes earlier this week. Okay? On the contrary, it doesn't appear to be that at all this time. But earlier this week, it did. They were all lined up. Okay? All of them were all lined up like something we've seen before in Canada, southern Canada, and over in Mexico. We've seen deep underground military bases there. We've seen them over in Spain as well. At one point, we had 150 deep underground military bases over southwest of Spain. That was another location. So we've seen them in now in 4 or 5 different places. Okay, that's happened. Now I do want to go over here. Okay, Albania, north of Greece, had a 2.9 earthquake there. Albania. Okay, now over in Italy, see all these earthquakes in Italy? Only 2 in southern Italy, and look at all those earthquakes over in central Italy today. There's about 28 earthquakes in central Italy. Folks, as we told you before, when we've seen these large numbers of earthquakes hitting in central Italy, we expect to see a large earthquake there. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time when we continue to see swarms of earthquakes in the same area. Okay? It's incredible. It's literally incredible. Okay, I tried to zoom in on there, and the numbers still did not pan out, but they're all in that central area there in Italy. Okay, now these are 0.7, 1.2 Marcia, Italy, M-A-R-C-H-E, Italy. Okay, 0.2, 1.2, 1.4, 1.1, etc. The last time it happened, we had a 5.1 earthquake here. I fully expect that to happen very soon. We've been having a lot of these earthquakes all in this area for quite some time now. So we're going to see a large earthquake here. DH says off the coast of San Diego. Off the coast of San Diego's also been hit. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Northeastern Italy over into Slovenia. Okay. 0.8, 1.0, and 1.6 earthquakes. Slovenia and northeastern Italy. Okay. That area is getting hit. Going over into Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, a 3.4 earthquake there today. Okay. This area here, folks, I want to point this out too. Okay. Look at this plate edge. Okay. The mountainous regions here. This is the Alps. Okay. Look at all these earthquakes here. Folks, that happens all the time. All the time. Switzerland and Germany, and France, they're getting hit. 2.2, 2.0, 2.2, and even over in Brittany, France, another 2.2 on the East Coast. Right there. Now, over in jolly old England, the United Kingdom got hit. Okay? Now, this is a 1.8 earthquake. This is a 1.8 earthquake in England today. Okay? Right here in central England. 1.8 earthquake. We don't usually see earthquakes there, but I want to show you that. Going over in southern Scandinavia, Norway, a 1.6 and a 1.4 in Norway. Okay? Norway. Telemark, Norway. Over in southern Sweden, Götaland, Sweden. There's a 1.7 there. Götaland, Sweden. Then we go north, northern Sweden, Norrbotten, Sweden. Northern Sweden, a 2.0 minor earthquake there. Now, let's go over here. Finland. Finland has a 1.6 and a 2.0 earthquake there. 1.6 and 2.0 earthquake in Finland. Yes, Finland, Sweden, and Norway are getting hit with earthquakes. Okay, now these are just minor tremors and earthquakes. Okay, nothing big. But when we see swarms of earthquakes all the time, now they're not swarms of earthquakes every day, but the entirety of earthquakes hitting there is probably, I want to say, 15 or 20 earthquakes every week in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Okay, that area is getting hit every day. All right, I want to go over to Iceland. Okay, over to Iceland. The European agency is talking about a 2.0 earthquake in Hurkle, Iceland, in central Iceland, a 2.0 earthquake right here. A 2.0. Now see this earthquake over on this ice cap here? This is a glacier. Underneath that glacier is a volcano. That volcano erupted in the early 2000s. When it erupted, there was so much ash fall from that volcano that air traffic was cut off from Europe for over a month. No air traffic could get anywhere in Europe for a month when Bardabunga volcano hit. Okay, a 3.2 earthquake there in the eastern part of Bardabunga, Iceland. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the Reykjanes Peninsula. Okay, this is in southern Iceland again. This is the Reykjanes Peninsula. Okay, now, the Mid-Atlantic Fault goes right up here through the southern part of the Reykjanes Peninsula. Over in this area here, and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it. The Mid-Atlantic Fault goes just north and west of Grindavik. This is Grindavik, Iceland. Okay, we talked quite a bit about this, the earthquakes that have been hitting here as of late. Now, these earthquakes are continuing to hit. Okay, I want to be very clear about that. The earthquakes are continuing to hit there. Now, with that said, we've seen earthquakes and volcanic activity. We've seen earthquakes and activity, earthquake is seismic. We've seen seismic activity and volcanic activity way down here in the southern part of the Reykjanes Peninsula. This is where the volcano first lit up about a year or so ago. Okay? It covered that entire area with a fresh coat of lava, a huge lake of lava, a huge field now. Most of that field is hardened over with hardened lava. Great big huge field of rock. Okay? The ground continues shaking. Okay? All the way up here towards Grindavik. Since that point in time, there have been 3 eruptions. 3 eruptions. I showed you where Grindavik is. Okay? The area where you see steam here, that steam, guys, that is a Svartsengi power plant. The geothermal plant, they're just north of Grindavik. Under this power plant is a huge molten reservoir of magma. A huge molten reservoir of magma up under the Svartsengi Peninsula. Or Svartsengi power plant, I'm sorry. The Svartsengi power plant, as I've talked about it, provides electricity and hot water for all the homes in Iceland. There's one other smaller power plant just east of Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. Okay? During the last eruption, the lava went over the pipelines that were laid on the surface of the earth there. The lava, hot lava, went over the pipelines, cutting off the stream of water and electricity going up to northern Iceland. While that volcano was erupting, crews were attempting to still, while it was erupting, lay more pipes with electricity and hot water on the ground, going back up over and around, connecting the other pipes north of the eruption where it was. That area had a huge eruption, guys, okay? A huge fissure of lava, okay? A huge fissure of lava stretching this whole area here. That's where it erupted right here, okay? Now, that area came over that lava came over, and there was another eruption just on the outskirts of Grindavik here. There were two eruptions, okay? Right here near the road leading into Grindavik. It destroyed two houses. The lava came out up here and burned down two houses on the outside of Grindavik. Now, crews had built an earthen berm, about a 20-foot earthen wall here around Grindavik. Now it's being reinforced so lava will not enter Grindavik. Okay? They've cut it off. Residents have now been let back into Grindavik. They're still trying to fix the huge gaping fissures that opened up with the earthquakes that happened back in November. They're still closing up those holes from the fissures that opened up back then. But folks, that Svartsengi power plant is getting hit with earthquakes because of the magma underneath the power plant. Huge magma reservoir down there. The earthquakes is continuing to hit that area. Scientists are now saying that they expect the eruption again to hit either at the Svartsengi power plant or just north of the Svartsengi power plant up here, right in this area here, within the matter of days, maybe hours. Okay? They expect this area to be erupting with molten lava here within the next hours or maybe a couple days at most. Okay? Now, last Sunday, let's go back to last Friday, a week ago tomorrow. Earthquakes were hitting all over that place. And scientists were saying then that they expected an imminent eruption. Saturday afternoon, the earthquake stopped. Okay? They did underground radar and determined that the magma had left the Svartsengi reservoir here and went up here. That's where the earthquakes are also hitting. So they expect this area to erupt here. We shall see. We're going to see whether that action actually happens. Okay? They fully expect it this time. I just wanted to point that out because sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll probably be doing a live report about another volcanic eruption in Iceland. I just want to give you guys a heads up about that. Now, more earthquakes. How about this time in Canada? Okay? This earthquake here that I'm going to talk about is in Lac Tio Mine, Quebec, Canada. This is a 2.74 earthquake up here, way up in the far north of Quebec, Canada. A little bit further south, also in Quebec, Canada. This is a 2.51 earthquake here, just north of the Great Lakes up here. A 2.51 earthquake, this time on the east coast of Canada. Okay? East coast of Canada. Now, folks, it doesn't happen very often. but now we're seeing earthquakes there. Now, I fully expect this to continue. USGS is not talking about these earthquakes at all. Go figure, okay? They're not talking about anything but over into the central United States, Oklahoma. Oklahoma today, and I'm going to show you this is near Medford, Oklahoma. This is a 2.32 small earth or minor earthquake there. Medford, Oklahoma with a 2.32 earthquake there. Minor earthquake. Medford, by the way, guys, and I'm going to zoom in here. I've been here before. I've shown you what's here. This should not be too surprising what's here. Okay. Just north of this earthquake, just north of that earthquake is an oil and gas platform right there. Okay. An oil and gas platform. Just south of there, another oil and gas platform right there. They're all over, aren't they? Two of them right there. They're everywhere. Okay? This earthquake in Oklahoma is right in the middle of an oil field. I just moved that over. Now you see 3 oil and gas platforms right there. Actually 4. Okay? So that earthquake in Oklahoma are fracking earthquakes. Okay? I just pulled it out a little bit more, and you can see more and more oil and gas platforms there all over Oklahoma. Okay? Oil and gas earthquakes. Happens every day. Southwestern Oklahoma again. Okay? Costa, Texas here. This is a 1.5 tremor there. Okay? 1.5 tremor, 1.6, 1.8, 2.0, 1.6, another 2.0, 1.9, 2.0, and another 3.0 right there. 2.9, 3.0 right there. These are oil and gas earthquakes in southwestern Texas. The oil and gas platforms are all over that area. This is huge oil and gas field here. Okay? Literally all over the place there. Let's go over into northern Mexico next. Okay? Baja, California. This earthquake is 48 miles northeast of San Felipe. A 3.2 earthquake there. Okay? We go north. I want to point something out to you. Here, I'm showing you the entire area of the Imperial Valley in Southern California. They're not showing one earthquake at all here. None. Folks, there's 150 earthquakes here at the very least. 150 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley, south of the Salton Sea. The Brawley seismic zone here. Here you can also see the San Andreas Fault that runs down the eastern side of the Salton Sea and how it cuts over underneath the Salton Sea and comes out at Calipatria. Okay? Then it takes another abrupt turn to the west, southwest, and then takes another abrupt turn to the south, right through the center of the Imperial Valley here. Okay? There's all kinds of earthquakes here, but USGS not talking about them. Over in the foothills of the Chocolate Mountains, if you remember the Tom Cruise movie, he and his crews flew over the Chocolate Mountains. This is over in the foothills of the Chocolate Mountains. This is a 1.56 tremor right there. 1.56 tremor here in the foothills of the Chocolate Mountains here. At the top of the Chocolate Mountains, this is Pine Valley, California. A 1.14 tremor here in Pine Valley. This is San Diego County. eastern San Diego County right there. To the north, you see earthquakes here in the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County here. Anza-Borrego Desert. Here we have 0.64, 0.31, 0.73, and 1.17 in northeast San Diego County, the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. More earthquakes up north along the San Andreas Fault. Banning, California, 1.68 and a 1.83 right there in Banning, California today. Minor tremors up there. Out east of there, Yucca Valley with a 1.46. Okay. Let's go over here to the Redlands. 0.66 and a 0.60. Twin earthquakes here in the Redlands, California today. Okay. Let's go over towards Los Angeles. Home Gardens, Avon, California with a 1.1 tremor there. Okay. That's all. Folks, isn't it interesting that that is the only earthquake listed there? Okay. Los Angeles County has dozens of quakes. I'm telling you guys, this next week when I have the software up here, I'm going to show you dozens of quakes all over Los Angeles, literally. North to south, east to west, all over LA, literally. Okay. Also, up towards Redlands, we have another 0.4 microquake in Vincent, California. Okay. Then over in Ojai, okay, this is just southeast of Santa Barbara, a 1.3 tremor there. Then, folks, guess what we have for you? I want to show you all these earthquakes. These make a difference. Okay? This, folks, is a Garlock Fault here. This is the Garlock Fault. We're having earthquakes there. Okay? A 1.26 Mojave, California. A 1.68. Over into the volcanic field, Lamont, California with a 1.62 here. Okay? These were 1.6 earthquakes over here in Mojave, Lamont, California with another 1.6 there. Okay? Further north, northeast, Kernville, California with a 1.38 tremor. Okay? Northeast of there, Searles Valley, 1.07. 0.69 in Little Lake, 0.53 in Little Lake, California. Also, Coso Junction, the Coso Volcanic Field with a 1.38 tremor there. Okay? The earthquakes came from down here off the Garlock and came up here to Ridgecrest and Little Lake, California here, and up further over here into the Coso Volcanic Field here. Okay? That Coso Volcanic Field is where there's another geothermal power plant, where man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Coso Volcanic Field, up in the upper magma chambers, to pull out steam to power turbines to generate electricity for all of California there. Okay? That's what's going on there in Coso Volcanic area. Okay? Then we go up to Mammoth, California. Mammoth Mountain. We have a 0.74, a 0.62, and a 1.01 at Mammoth Mountain. Now, folks, this is only what they're talking about. Again, I'm going to hopefully show you this next week, seismographs from this area. And I will guarantee you there are minor earthquakes and small earthquakes hitting Mammoth Mountain. It's a volcano. And just east of that volcano is Long Valley, another super volcano right there. Okay? I can guarantee you there's earthquakes and tremors there in Long Valley Volcano as well, that whole area. Going north along the San Andreas Fault, the earthquake capital of California is Parkfield, California. Well, guess what? There's a 2.23 earthquake in Parkfield, California today. Okay? Earthquake capital meaning it has more earthquakes there in Parkfield than any other place in California anywhere. Okay? North of there. North of there. We're talking about the Pinnacles. The Pinnacles are just southeast of Monterey Bay. We're getting hit with tremors there. Yes, it's on the San Andreas Fault, but it's also where we have volcanic field as well. And we have oil and gas. Oil and gas here in the Pinnacles here, right there. Okay? Just east of Monterey Bay, Gilroy, California, with a 0.8 tremor microquake there. Gilroy, California, with a 0.8 microquake there. We go north and east of San Francisco Bay, this time on the Hayward Fault, a 1.35 tremor on the Hayward Fault. Now, while that happened there, just along the coast north of the entrance to San Francisco Bay, Bolinas, California, with a 0.87 tremor there. Okay? Now, I want to show you the entrance to the San Francisco Bay. It's right there. Okay? We had two small minor earthquakes right here this week. 2.23 and 2.25 earthquakes here. Just 7 miles west of the San Francisco Zoo. Okay? That's what's happened earlier this week. Okay? That's happening. 100 miles north of the San Francisco Bay Area, we have the geysers, another geothermal power plant here. This is in Sonoma County, California. We have a geothermal power plant where man has drilled into the upper magma chamber of this volcano right here, the Clear Lake volcano. Seismic activity hits the man-made earthquake faults here in terms of the drill points, and that's why we have earthquakes here. Okay? About 38 earthquakes here in the geysers today. Okay? 38 earthquakes there in the geysers today. North of Clear Lake, Lake Pillsbury, a 1.962.0 earthquake in Lake Pillsbury, California, right there. Okay? Now, let's go north. North along the coast between Pillsbury and Petrolia, California. Laytonville, California, with a 2.62 earthquake there. Okay? Now, we don't see any earthquake here along the Cascadia subduction zone except we get off Vancouver Island. Here off the coast of Vancouver Island, northwest coast of Vancouver Island, we have a 2.85 earthquake, right between the Cascadia subduction zone and the Juan de Fuca Fault. Okay? Right there in that same area. Folks, this same area right here is where we expect to see the 10.0, the 9.0, 10.0 Cascadia megathrust earthquake to occur. Right in this area right here. Okay? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, yesterday, everybody wanted to know what's happening at Mount St. Helens. West of Mount St. Helens. Okay? This is near East Calumet, Washington. East Calumet, Washington. This is a 0.89 microquake. Going eastbound to Mount St. Helens. Now, again, this is the U.S., or not the U.S., the European agency. Let me get another drink of water here. Sorry about that. At Mount St. Helens. And this is disappointing, to say the least. This is very disappointing. Mount St. Helens. I'm going to show you two earthquakes here. This one I'm going to show you now is a 0.24 microquake. .62 microquake just west of Mount St. Helens right there. I am sorry, just east of Mount St. Helens. At Mount St. Helens, okay, we have two tremors here. The first one is 0.07 and a 0.20 at Mount St. Helens. Again, this is the European agency telling us this. Folks, I can guarantee you that we're having earthquakes there, not just microquakes, but earthquakes. 2.0 and 3.5, 4.0 today at Mount St. Helens. The European agency is telling us about this. Okay? European agencies at least telling us some truth. Because the USGS isn't telling us about squat. They're hardly telling us a thing. Yes, occasionally they will show microquakes. And yes, they're showing us two microquakes there today. Okay? Minus 0.1, they want us to believe that this is above sea level. Okay? This happens to be 6.9 kilometers deep, right down, smack down in the middle of the volcano. Okay? The minus 0.1 is not shown here by the Europeans. Okay? But the USGS is showing us a minus 0.1. Stupid. They're also showing us another 0.1 on the rim of Mount St. Helens, and another 0.1 down inside the volcano, 7 kilometers deep. And they're telling us about a 0.2, half a mile deep. So they're showing us 4 minor microquakes. 4 minor microquakes. I can guarantee you we have full-blown earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens. And they're not telling anybody about it. Okay? They're not telling anybody about it. Why not? USGS, I'm going to ask you again. Why can you not tell the truth about what's happening? Inquiring minds want to know. USGS is also talking about another 2.6 near Quakes, Washington. Near Quakes, Washington. This is near Mount Olympia in Washington, which is another volcano. This is on the southwest foothills of Mount Olympia. And there's earthquakes there as well. They're just not telling anybody about it. Demon Catman, I don't know why they keep messing with you. The auto corrupt? Yeah. Dean, I don't know. I just don't know. They just mess. They just mess. Anyway, folks, another quake. Another quake. This is over in Montana. Northern Montana near the Canadian border. This is near Ronan, Montana, a 1.7 tremor. Then south of there, Stanley, Idaho again. This is also not in the Yellowstone magma chamber. This is west of the Yellowstone magma chamber. Okay. This is a 2.9 in Stanley, Idaho, 2.9, 3.0 in Stanley, Idaho. USGS is not saying anything today about Yellowstone. Not a darn thing about Yellowstone at all. And the Europeans are not saying anything either. Not anything, which is sad. There's Yellowstone and not a thing is being said. I know there's a bunch of tremors there. I saw them on the University of Utah seismology station online. And you can pick those up at the Utah State University Department of Seismology. You can pick it up off of Google and go there and check it yourself. Okay? A great place to watch earthquakes in Idaho, Utah, and also up in Yellowstone and Montana. University of Utah monitors that whole area. Okay? Now, as for earthquakes in Alaska, yes, we're getting hit by earthquakes in Alaska. I'm just going to briefly show you what's going on. There's not much else to tell you about except it's happening. Okay? Literally all over Alaska. Okay? Over on the southeast coast of Alaska, Sitka volcano. Sitka volcano with a 5.5, well, excuse me, not 5.5, a 0.55 microquake. Sitka volcano over here in southeastern Alaska. Okay? I'm sorry, I should have told you this before also. Off the northwest coast of Vancouver, British Columbia, Port Alice, British Columbia, off the coast, we have a 2.83 minor earthquake just off the coast of northwest Vancouver, Canada. Okay? Then, like I said, Sitka, Alaska here, the volcano is 0.55 microquake here. Okay? Going over into Alaska. Yakutak, Alaska, Juneau area, a 2.0 earthquake there. There's a 2.0 earthquake there. Going further west, 1.8, and another 1.8 there. Okay, 2.0 earthquakes. North of there, Nebezna, Alaska, another 1.8 there. All of that seismic energy going over into northeastern Alaska, it's all 1.8 and 2.0 tremors and earthquakes. Okay? Going north. Go north, young man. Go north. Look at all these earthquakes here in Alaska. Over 60 earthquakes here in Alaska today. Okay? 60 earthquakes in Alaska today. North of there, I keep talking about this area here that keeps having quakes. This is Salcha, Alaska, right there. Salcha, Alaska, with a 1.0 tremor. Folks, this is where we had a 5.1 here 4 weeks ago. We're still getting aftershocks there. And this, folks, is just north of Denali, Alaska. North of Denali, Alaska. Near Mount McKinley today. Good old Mount McKinley. Here's a 2.20 earthquake there. Near Mount McKinley. Okay? Incredible. Central Alaska, Minto, Alaska, 1.5 tremor. All these are 1.5, 2.0 earthquakes here. Okay? It's ramped up. Going north. Now, this is an earthquake at the Arctic Circle. This is Ambler, Alaska. This is a 3.0 earthquake at Ambler, Alaska today at the Arctic Circle. Okay, look at that. It's not often we see earthquakes at the Arctic Circle. I want to show you that. Then down here in southwestern Alaska, here's another 3.0 earthquake here. Okay. Earthquakes down here. Look at the earthquakes here, and I'm talking right there. This is Old Ililama volcano right there. Look at the earthquakes there. swarms of earthquakes there. Incredible. Now, south of Mount Redoubt. Look at this. More swarms of quakes south of Mount Redoubt here. Incredible. Okay, incredible. Earthquakes down in the southern part of the peninsula of Alaska. Nikolsky, Alaska, 0.9 and a minus 0.8 near Nikolsky, Alaska, down here in the southern islands of the Aleutian Island Fault Zone. Okay, this is in the southern peninsula of Alaska. Okay, over towards Adak, Alaska. We have a 0.8 and a 0.4 Adak, Alaska, and two other earthquakes here as well. 1.48 and a 0.74 in Adak. That's it for the Aleutian Islands. Okay, so I've taken you all over the world. The only place I haven't shown you is north of Japan. Okay, the Kuril Islands of Russia. This is another 5.0 earthquake here in the Kuril Islands of Russia, right between Hokkaido here to the south and Kamchatka Peninsula here. A 5.0 large earthquake there. Okay, now I've taken you all over the world. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'll be happy to take any questions that you have for me. I appreciate you all being here, guys. I really do. Okay. Eli is saying, so Mount St. Helens could go off again. Yeah, it possibly could. Judging from all of the earthquakes that are going off there, okay? USGS is not even talking about all those. They're not. How dare they? They're not doing it. They're not doing it. Let me see if I can show you something else here. Let me see if I can show you something else. I'm just getting really, I'm tired of the garbage that they're not showing us. I'm fed up with it. Okay? Let me see if I can show you something. And you see if I can pull a funny here and get them to show us what is going on. I think you all deserve to know it. I have already seen it today, and that's okay. It's all right. They're going to continue to do whatever they want to do, and they don't care about anybody else. They don't care about families or anybody else that lives around there. Captain Daz, I guess is how you pronounce your name. Why are they hiding the data? Well, let me tell you something, okay? They've been hiding data for a very long time. Why? Because, folks, if they were honest with what's going on, they would let us know. They're not going to do it. They're just plain not going to do it. The politicians have told them not to show what's going on. Okay, the politicians have shown them or told them not to say what's going on because the politicians don't want anybody to know. The politicians want to stay employed, so they're not going to say anything. Okay? They're just not going to say anything. Why? Because, folks, as long as they don't say anything, there's going to be people still living there. If the agency was going to talk about what's really going on, people would move away. With people moving away, what happens? There's no tax base. Nobody spending any money at the stores. Nobody paying taxes there that's living there. They'll move away. If there's nobody paying taxes, the cities and counties and the state won't have money, will they? With no money, the politicians won't get paid either. So the politicians are telling the managers at USGS, shut up. Don't be honest with what's going on. That's why. Okay? If there's nobody living there, the stores are not going to make any money and they're going to move. They're not going to stay where there's nothing happening. They're not going to stay where there's nothing going on. Okay? Now, I'm trying to do or play a trick on the agency by bringing this information up on my phone on this other device. If it allows me to do it, I'm going to do it here. So far, it's moving very slowly. Okay. If you go over to the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, PNSN shows the earthquakes on seismograms. Okay. You're not going to get this information any other way. You have to go to the PNSN to look up the earthquakes. Otherwise, they're not going to show you anything at all. They just don't do it. They never have. Now, I'm going to try to do something and do it more quickly than they're showing us here. And I know which seismograms to look for. Yolanda's asking, am I okay? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm doing better than I have in the past. Let's put it that way. Okay. I'm doing a little bit better. Demon Catman says here in the chat, politics, money, and logistics. And yeah, he's absolutely right. That is exactly what's going on there. You know, it's incredible what they get away with. It really is. Let me see here. I want to show you something here. Okay. Right here. You can see the top part of the seismogram, and this may show up tomorrow. Okay. Look at that. This is the activity at Mount St. Helens right now. This is the September lobe seismograph at Mount St. Helens. This is what's going on right now. Right here. Okay. See that earthquake there? That's a 3.0 earthquake hitting right now. This hit at 1800 hours, 6 p.m. Pacific time. A 3.0 earthquake right now. That's a small earthquake. Okay. This other stuff are minor tremors and 2.0 minor earthquakes. This one here is a 2.0 earthquake. That's a 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.0 earthquake. These here are all 2.0 earthquakes here. Okay. That's what that seismogram is showing. Now I'm going to show you today's seismogram at September lobe. This should give you a good idea of what's happening at Mount St. Helens. Oh goody. Look at this. Okay. Look at that. This earthquake that you see here is also at least a 3.5 earthquake. If you look at the seismic energy that happened before that, that is the, oh darn it, that is a foreshock of that earthquake. This is the foreshock of that earthquake. Then the triangle that goes out to the right of that earthquake, those are the secondary wave of the earthquake. That secondary wave lasts about a minute, 60 seconds. This earthquake here just by itself would be about 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. But because of the secondary quake here, I can truthfully say that's probably a 3.5 earthquake right there. This earthquake up here is a 3.5 earthquake. Okay. Then over here on this black line here, these earthquakes happened yesterday evening. That earthquake I showed you here was about 5:40 p.m. last night. This earthquake here is after 8:10, about 8:08 p.m. last night. This is a 4.0 earthquake. That's a 4.0 earthquake. Yes, we're seeing some other minor earthquakes and tremors right here. And you can see some other tremors right here. Okay, those happened last night and early this morning. Now, I'm going to pull up the rest of the seismogram today. Look here. It doesn't show anything but maybe a 2.0, 2.2 earthquake right here. This happened just after about 12, I want to say 12:38 this afternoon on this blue line here. 12:38 this afternoon. That's what's actually going on. Okay. Now I believe I can also pull something else off here. Okay. What I want to show you is another seismogram at Mount St. Helens. This seismogram should show you and all of us all of the magma that's being generated coming into Mount St. Helens volcano. Okay. This should give you a further idea of what's going on. It also should give you a good idea of what they're not reporting. When we have heavy-duty magma coming into the volcano, we have a lot of magma activity here. All these wavy lines are called very low frequency lines. This is magma coming into the volcano. Look at this heavy-duty movement of magma. Look at all this heavy-duty magma activity here. This heavy-duty magma activity here came after 10 p.m. last night. We had magma activity. This seismogram recorded the activity after 4 p.m. last night, Pacific time. We still had a lot of magma activity literally all afternoon and all evening. Heavy-duty activity ranging from 9 p.m. last night until about 2 a.m. this morning. Look at all that activity this morning. Last night, late last night, and this morning. That is a lot of heavy-duty magma activity. Magma coming into the magma chamber here. Okay? So they are not telling us exactly what's going on at Mount St. Helens. When we have heavy-duty magma activity like I just showed you at Mount St. Helens, folks, there's a lot more earthquake activity happening. Okay? Yesterday afternoon, late yesterday afternoon, we showed you a small earthquake, a 3.5 earthquake. But with that heavy-duty activity from 9 o'clock last night to 2 a.m. this morning, 5 hours of heavy-duty magma. When you have heavy-duty magma, you have earthquakes. Okay? They are not telling us the truth. This is the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Okay? They're being paid by the state of Washington to tell us what's going on, but they're not. Again, they're withholding data. They're altering the seismograms to tell their own story. Okay? They're altering the seismograms to tell their own story. They're not in any way, shape, or form being honest about what's going on. They're just not. There's no way in heck that they can be. There's no way. Don Gatto is saying, so could it blow anytime soon? It could erupt at any time. That honestly could erupt at any time. Now I'm going to check out one more seismogram here and see what it says. Now both of these seismographs sit on the top of the volcano at the summit. Okay? That first one was September lobe. I'm now going to try to show you another one, another seismogram from off of East Dome Mount St. Helens. Guess what? They're not showing squat. They're literally not showing squat. Okay, I want to show you what they're showing. Okay, this one was approximately 5:40 p.m. yesterday. Look at that. Okay, this is that 3.5 I told you about that was shown on September lobe. This is East Dome Mount St. Helens. Two seismographs sitting on the top of the summit of Mount St. Helens. Okay? All that this seismogram is showing us are, other than that, tremors. There's a tremor down here. There's other minor tremor activity here going on here, but that's all. That's all. They're not in any way, shape, or form being honest with any of us. Okay? Two seismographs showing us this area, and they're not showing us squat. That's what's sad. And they could show us that. They could easily be honest with us and show us what's going on, but they're not. They're not. That's what's so sad. I'm going to try to show you another seismogram and see what it says. The one I'm looking up now is called Sugar Bowl. This is on the north side of Mount St. Helens. See what it says here. Guys, guess what? They've copied the seismogram. They've copied the seismogram from September lobe and East Dome Mount St. Helens. It's the same seismogram, as you can see. Look at that. They're hardly showing anything. They're certainly not showing any of the data after 10 p.m. last night. Nothing. Look at that. Not a darn thing last night. And yet, from here all the way down, I'm sorry, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Forgive me. From here all the way down here should show a lot of earthquakes, other than two tremor, actually this minor tremor event here and a minor tremor event here and another minor tremor event here. That's all they're showing. They're not being honest with us at all. We have a lot of magma coming into the volcano right here during this whole 5-hour period. And yet they're not showing us a darn thing. And Demon Cat says Mount Baker and Glacier Peak should show that. And should that, if those volcanoes erupted, those volcanoes would affect Canada as well. Probably pretty close to being correct. Okay? Let me tell you that. Probably pretty darn close to being right on the money. It's sad. It's very sad. When these people decide they don't want to talk, they don't. They don't do it. They frankly don't give a darn. And I've been talking about this for 5 years now. 5 years. They literally don't give a darn. Again, let me show you this. This is Glacier Peak right now, covering the time from 4 p.m. this afternoon until 6 p.m. Actually, 6:15 is the red line here. Yes, we're showing earthquakes here at Glacier Peak. This seismogram was off for 2 months, completely turned off for 2 months, and we're seeing 2 back-to-back earthquakes right after 6 p.m. tonight. This second one appears to be at least a 3.0 earthquake, and the other could very well be that as well. And then over here on the far right, this appears to be after about 7:44 p.m. tonight, or excuse me, not 5:44 p.m. on this blue line here. This appears to be part of this here, but this is 5:44 here, and this here is after, actually it was. This one here on the blue line is at least a 3.0, and so this is a continuance of that at 6:15 here. 6:15 here. They're not even showing 6 p.m. here, which would be a black line here. But you can see all this seismic activity here. Tomorrow, it won't show here. They're not going to show any activity like this here at all. They're going to completely cover it up. You watch. I'll try to show you this seismogram tomorrow. None of that activity will be there. Plain and simple. They just don't do it. They flat out don't do it. I want to show you one other one here, Mount Baker. I'm going over to Mount Baker now. Mount Baker is just south of Canada on the southern side of the border, okay? That's where we're going right now. Jan is asking, wonder what their excuse for shutting off for 2 months. I don't know. All of a sudden, and it could be me, they don't like me talking about it. They don't like me showing you all of this stuff here. Okay? Plain and simple, they don't. They hate me for it. Yet I've been doing it. I don't really care what they think. That's my biggest problem. I don't care. Okay? I'm going to talk about it because they won't. Well, the main seismogram is not available. They're showing crap. They're showing all they're showing here on the main seismogram from Mount Baker is steam. Just solid lines. There's no dot in the middle of the line which would show it to be an earthquake. If there's a dot in the middle of a line, it's an earthquake or a tremor. Here, they're just showing 4 solid lines. That doesn't mean anything. Not a thing. I'm going to go over to the north side of Mount Baker to the Shuksan, Shuksan ski resort at Mount Baker. Haha. Guess what? Eureka. Look here at Mount Baker. Look at all the seismic activity occurring at Mount Baker. This is exactly what was shown 3 years ago. 3 years ago. After the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network started seeing that I was showing the activity, they started forging the activity. They started falsifying the data. Okay? But you can see plain and simple, this is the beginning of this seismogram today. Will this show tomorrow? Probably not. This data that you're seeing right here will probably be gone. All this data here will probably be gone tomorrow. Would not surprise me at all. Now let me go back to today. Okay? What happened Wednesday night into today? Okay? You can see that little circle, that little wheel going round and round, searching for the data. Look at that. These solid lines here don't mean squat. Okay? If they were lines here, folks, they would be thin lines turning into thicker lines and thicker lines turning into thinner lines. These are all solid lines. These are false data. If these lines were thinner lines turning into thicker and thicker turning into thinner, it would be called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals, okay? Meaning magma coming into the volcano. Magma doesn't come into the volcano straight lines like this. It doesn't do that, okay? Not like this blue line either, and not like this black line here. This is last night. This is false data. All that is false data. Then we come down here to after 4 a.m. this morning. Look at that. We had earthquakes at Mount Baker. Look at this one here. This is at least a 4.0 earthquake here. This occurred after 5:15 a.m. this morning. Look at that long red earthquake there. This is the foreshock of that earthquake. Tremors building into an earthquake here. Tremors building into a 2.0 minor quake and turning into a full-blown decent-sized earthquake. This is at least a 4.5 moderate earthquake right there. Okay? Look at that. Look at that, folks. That's at least a 4.5 earthquake. That's what they look like. This, folks, is probably a 2.8 earthquake here in blue. Okay? This other one here, also in blue, is probably a 2.8 earthquake as well. All these other lines are false data. Okay? They only show what they decide to show you. And this is Mount Baker. This is Mount Baker. Okay? Don Patoka says document, document, document. I've been documenting this for 5 years now. I've been showing this activity for 5 years. There was actually more activity, just like I showed you a few minutes ago here, than what they're showing here. They just don't like to show truth. They're not going to. They know darn well that these volcanoes are going to erupt. They know it. Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, absolutely. Mount Hood, probably. Okay? You can't ignore this. You honestly cannot ignore this. This is insane. This is literally insane. Just a second. Okay, I'm going to show you another map here. Okay, someone asked me right now how many volcanoes are in Oregon. Okay, I want to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in just in Oregon. Well, in fact, I'll show you Washington and Oregon. Okay, that's what I'll do here. I definitely want to show you what's happening. You all need to know this. We have a lot of people that live in this area. Everyone has a right to this information. And these people won't show it to you. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Let me show you this. If you go to the Alaskan Volcanic Center here, if you look up Alaskan Volcanic Center, you'll come up with this map done by the USGS, okay? This volcano right here is Mount Baker. That's Mount Baker. This is Glacier Peak here. This is Glacier Peak, right there. Okay, Glacier Peak right there. There's Seattle, okay? This is Mount Rainier. There's Mount Rainier. Guess what, guys? Mount St. Helens is right here. Mount St. Helens is right there. Mount Adams is right here. Now I've shown you the major volcanoes in Washington. Yes, there are others. There's Olympic volcano right here. They do not have it even put on the map. This is Mount Olympus here, Mount Olympia here. It's a volcano too. Then we come down here to Oregon. This is Mount Hood. Okay. Then we come down here. Okay, I want to show you this. That's Mount Jefferson. That's Mount Jefferson. Now, there are other things here as well. Okay. This is BLOW. I don't remember what that stands for, but that is another volcano here just west of Mount Jefferson. Okay. There is a seismograph there. This is another seismograph there. Over here is another seismograph right there. Okay, seismograph SSO. It's operated by the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network that I just showed you here. Okay, this one here is operated by the state of Oregon. This is Marin, Oregon. I believe it's Marin, Oregon. Okay, then we come down here. The Blue Lake Crater, Sand Mountain Volcanic Field, Belknap Crater. Belknap Crater. You come down here to Three Sisters. Okay, we often talk about Sisters Volcano. Okay, there's 3 volcanoes there at Three Sisters. Okay, it's a complex of 3 volcanoes: Sisters North, Sisters Central, and Sisters South. South of there is Mount Bachelor as well. Okay, then we come over here to the northeast, Newberry Volcano. Then further southeast here, Devil's Garden Lava Field. Over here, we have Davis Lake Volcanic Field here. Then we come further south over here to South Central Oregon, Cinnamon Butte here. Then our friend that was here earlier this week, Brokefish, talked about Crater Lake. This is Crater Lake here. Okay? Crater Lake here. I try to show you one of the seismograms here, if it will let me. Hold on a second. Okay, good. It let me do this. Okay, over here on the northeast side of Crater Lake. Okay, this seismogram is called Cleetwood Cove. The seismograph is called Cleetwood Cove. I want you to see this. Okay, this seismogram started recording information just after 2:15 this morning. You can see the far end of the 2:15 over here. This would be about 2:25 here. 2:25 over here on the left. Then all the other activity here. These are all tremors here. All this is tremor activity here. You can see the magma coming into the volcano here. Thinner lines turning into thicker lines turning into thinner lines here. You can see that magma coming in here. Further down here, you can see the magma coming into the volcano here. Here is another tremor here. Okay, right here is another tremor there. That was after about 8:26 this morning. Okay, then we come down here. All we have is minor magma activity coming into the volcano, but down here after about 12:08 p.m. this afternoon. Okay, this is like a 2.5, 2.8 earthquake here, and then we have similar secondary wave here. Okay, that secondary wave lasts about 2 minutes. This is telling me that the seismogram is wrong. This is like a 3.0 earthquake right here. That's a 3.0 earthquake right there. Okay. Look at all this other activity here. This is all magma coming into the magma chamber here. Look at here. Okay. See this earthquake here? This is not just a solid vertical line here. This vertical line has a dot in the middle of it. That means it was an earthquake. For about a fraction of a second, we had a 3.3 earthquake right there. A 3.3 earthquake there. Then we have more tremors here the rest of this afternoon. That's what a seismogram looks like from the USGS. Okay? That was Cleetwood Cove. Down here to the southeast here, we have another one. This is Crater Lake, Mount Scott, CLMS. Okay? Look at this. This is a blank seismogram. This means that the USGS cut off the seismograph, or they just plain don't want to show it. They either turn it off or they plain just don't want to show it. So they put up a blank seismogram here. No data at all on it. Okay? Over here, This is Wizard Island. Wizard Island also has a seismograph here. Here's a seismogram from Wizard Island here. Look at that. There's a lot of magma activity coming into the magma chamber here. You can see it. You can also see vertical lines here. These are all tremor activity here, caused by the magma coming into the volcano. Over here to the right, we have a huge magma activity here. Look at that. And all these vertical lines here are tremors as a result of that magma activity. Then we go further down here this morning, late this morning, okay? This looks to be about, I want to say 12:08, 12:07 this afternoon, okay? This is like a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. However, that vertical line doesn't really tell the story. Look at this secondary wave activity. The secondary wave comes way out here. Almost 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes of secondary wave activity. That tells me that the seismograph was turned down. Secondary wave, we look at a secondary wave activity also in assessing how strong this earthquake was. This is probably a 3.0 earthquake, 3.0 small earthquake today at Crater Lake. Then we have all this other seismic activity here. All this is magma activity, and look at the vertical lines here running through that magma, each line here of that magma activity. Those vertical lines are all tremors here. Tremors caused by the magma fracturing the rock as it's coming into the volcano. Those little tiny lines are tremor activity. That tremor activity resulting from the magma fracturing the rock as it comes into the volcano. Okay? Then we have more activity here. Okay, 2.5 earthquake here. That's all. That's all. Okay? Any questions? Okay? That's what's going on in Oregon. All those volcanoes, they're all active. They're all active. ESGN, the USGS showed the northeast side of Crater Lake. It's called Fleetwood Cove. But no, not the south side. No, they don't show the southeast, show the southwest or the southeast. Well, they do. They show the southwest here. It's called Crater Lake Bunkhouse. And I just looked at it, it's just false data. Crater Lake Bunkhouse, CLBH, Crater Lake Bunkhouse. It's showing false data, so it doesn't even matter. And that's what's going on. USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network show false data all the time. All that data I showed you at the beginning of the seismograph or seismogram tonight is not going to show up tomorrow. They're going to alter it, or they're just going to erase it as if it didn't happen. That happens all the time. First Eye is asking what's going on in Oregon. I just showed you. I just gave everyone a detailed account of what's going on in Oregon. Okay, Oregon's very active. It's very, very active. Does anyone have any questions for me? I know I've covered a lot in the last, criminy sakes. It's been 2 hours, a little over 2 hours since we've been here. Somebody just asked for me to ban them, and so I banned them. That person's gone. You mods took them down, and I banned them. Wish granted. Unreal. Kramer Wells, sorry I missed it. You can go back to the beginning of our broadcast after we get off the air, and you can watch it. I gave you a lot of information tonight. A lot of information you probably would not have gotten until next week. And this happens every day. All of this information happens every day. A little bit different in every volcano, but it happens. Okay? Any other questions? I always open it up to questions after the program I get through showing you what I have to show you. There's a lot going on. Now, you folks over on the West Coast, you guys have been having a lot of weather, a ton of weather. You guys have had heavy rains, flooding, all kinds of nasty stuff happening, including some minor tornadoes go through Los Angeles, San Diego, and even up into Northern California. And even up into Oregon and Washington, you guys have seen rain and snow. Tons of it. California got 5 to 10 feet of snow this last time. A lot of it. Nevada, Idaho, Utah, and Colorado, you guys have also already seen it as well. Really bad roads, blistering winds upwards of 150 miles an hour. Unreal. You guys are going to get a respite, okay? Just off the coast of California, there's a huge high pressure system coming in. So you guys are going to get a respite from all the nonsense going on, okay? It's going to come to an abrupt end. You guys are going to see some sunnier skies. You guys are also going to have a lot better weather, okay? I don't think you're going to see any violent rain or snowstorms. I think your flooding is probably going to end as well. Yes, I have kids. I have my friend Don Patoka and quite a few others over in Utah. I love them. I love my family all over Utah and Idaho. We have several of you also living up in Idaho as well, in Nevada. We love you. Please know that. But the weather that you guys have had to put up with is slowly coming to an end. Like I said, there's a high pressure system coming in off the Pacific coast, and it's going to warm things up tremendously. Okay? Over into Colorado, the same thing. You guys are probably going to have skiing over in the mountains of Colorado, all over the mountains of Colorado. It's going to be beautiful weather. But it's March. Okay, with this warm weather coming in, however, probably by Wednesday or Thursday this next week, the ski resorts in Utah and in Colorado are going to see warmer weather, and it may melt some of the snow. Okay, so you guys in lower elevations in Utah and Colorado may see some flooding from the melting snow, unfortunately. Now, the fire in Texas is still going. Unfortunately, still going. Close to 2 million acres of land have been burned by that fire over in the panhandle of Texas. It's sad. Surgery, my friend, who's also a mod on this channel, he's probably working tonight. I don't see him here in the chat. He said that he got word over 3,000 cattle have died. The word I got, even the day before yesterday, is over 10,000 cattle have perished, and other cattle will have to be put down because their hooves are burnt, their teats are burned, and their udders are burned as well. Those animals will have to be put down. Unfortunately, they're out there in the plains area of Texas and suffering. I saw a video, and many of you probably have also seen video. I wish I'd been able to have my computer up and running before now. I would be able to show you a lot of video of the cattle running across the plains to get away from the fire. It was a horrible sight. All that smoke and flame going hundreds of feet in the air. It was bad. You guys probably saw that. You guys are talking about Maui, just like Maui. Yes, absolutely. First, I said, just like Maui, I was up there. Then there was a storm when the fires right after. I don't believe that storm had anything to do with the fires. Okay, I don't. Someone mentioned last night about DEW. Yes, I believe it was DEW that caused the fires in Maui. DEW also, I believe, may have caused the fires in Texas. And why do I say that? I mentioned it last night. President Joe Biden made mention in a speech either yesterday or the night before that why don't all people in Texas have blue roofs? That tells me he knows more about what happened in Texas than he's willing to share. Okay? Why do I say that? People that had blue roofs in Maui had their homes saved. There were blue shirts found on the ground in the town in Maui that weren't burnt. Blue shirts on the ground weren't burnt. Okay? That's what happened. Over in Texas, I'm sure of it. I am very sure of it, especially after Biden said what he said. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Okay? Dago Plays SBH got timed out by me for 24 hours. Sorry, you put up crap in my chat, you're gone. You're gone. Not going to put up with it. Okay? Not at all. Anyway, do any of you have any other questions? I'll be happy to answer your questions. I also just reported that guy, and I'm hiding him as well, guys. Yeah. Don Patoka says DEW is nothing new. Demon Cat was just here saying due patents and equipment have been used by militaries for years. Yes, they have. It's unreal. Any other questions, guys? I appreciate all of you being here. We have this President of the United States speaking in the State of the Union right now tonight, ongoing. I'm going to get out of here. I really don't care a flying rat's butt about what he says. Okay? Yeah, first I couldn't believe what I saw. There's a clip on YouTube about it. If you can try to find it. I saw it. Okay? It's definitely him. So, anyway, guys, Don Patoki just put up our address here, our P.O. Box 422, Valdese, Valdese, North Carolina. The zip code is 28690. Please, folks, if you want to send donations to help pay for this computer, I would appreciate it. You can send them to our PayPal that is going to be listed in our program description right below this video. Just as soon as I can get off the air, I'll put that information up. You go to our PayPal locations and help support our program there as well. We appreciate everything that you all have done. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thanks so much for being here today in our chat and being here with us so I could show you everything going on. Jan says that was Glacier Peak, correct? Yes, I did show Glacier Peak seismogram today. So yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. May God bless you. God bless all of your families. And folks, I sincerely mean that. God be with you until we meet again. Hopefully, starting tomorrow, we'll be back on our computer so we can show you everything that's going on across the nation and around the world, as we did tonight. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, folks. I love you very much. See you soon.